About 1 year ago, I wrote a blog post specifically addressing mental health for music teachers. Because although we're still in the dead of summer, we are most likely planning for our fall schedules, and it can easily become the busiest time of year for us. On top of that, musicians tend to be very type A people with high expectations, have a high achievement mentality, and we place a lot of unnecessary pressure on ourselves, which can lead to mental disorders such as anxiety and depression and others. The specific reason why I'm talking about this today is because I'm one of those teachers that specifically struggles with seasonal depression and high anxiety, and sometimes it can be a very, very real interference with my studio schedule and my mental preparation for my lessons. Whether or not you struggle specifically with mental health issues, there's going to be times in your studio that ebb and flow as to whether it's an easy season for you in your teaching career or whether it's a more challenging season, recital season, and exam season. So in this video, I want to share with you 4 tips that I personally follow to make sure that I stay on top of prioritizing me, as well as being able to take care of my students that have invested in me. Tip number 1, simplify down to the bone. And I mean strip anything extra that is really not necessary to the success and progress of your students. We are so blessed to have so many resources on social media, online, that sometimes we feel like we have to do everything that everybody else is doing. When you're in a season of life where life just feels hard, this is not the time to add one more thing to your plate. If there's one thing that you want to try to do, that's fine. Pick that one thing and implement that one thing and one thing only. If you just want to have a season where you're not changing anything, then don't change anything. It's not a requirement. My second tip that I have is to streamline as much as humanly possible in your studio. Simplify and streamline are 2 of my favorite S words because they pretty much make it so that your studio is sustainable whether or not you are functioning at 100% capacity or not. One of my favorite ways to streamline is making sure my lesson planning follows a very specific structure and framework that is repeatable and takes me very little time week in and week out. In fact, I actually just created a resource called the 10-minute group lesson planner, specifically for piano teachers that really struggle with having lesson planning take up a big chunk of their admin. This resource is sure to make your hours of lesson planning simplified down to the bare bones. And when I say I used to struggle with hours and hours of lesson planning and admin every single week, I am not kidding you. It is not an exaggeration that I only spend 10 minutes per week planning lessons for groups of students, 3 all the way up to 5 students per group. My third tip for you actually applies beyond the studio, and it is to check your expectations. Normally, I am a person that keeps the house completely spotless. It would kill me to leave a dish in the sink 5 years ago. But now I know that when there's a lot on my plate, a lot of noise running through my mind, I know that it's better for me to leave those dishes in the sink and get the rest that I need to be able to show up refreshed for not only my students, but for my spouse and my young family. Do not stretch yourself so thin that you become like a thin rubber band that gets stretched wider and wider and wider until eventually you snap because you tried to do it all. It is not worth it. And fourth tip that I have for you is do not sacrifice you time. That should be one of your priorities, but unfortunately, many adults, not just piano teachers, put you time as the lowest to do item on their priority list. If you sacrifice you time, you are sacrificing your mental health. So make sure you make caring for yourself a top priority in whatever you do. I know that as teachers specifically, we love to give, and giving is one of our best traits. But if you give so much that your cup is continuously on empty, you will not be able to give to your fullest extent and show up as your best self for your relationships or for your students. So do not wait until you are empty to make time for yourself. And last tip is actually a bonus tip, but if you find that you are really struggling with the amount of time that you spend on your studio, whether it's teaching lessons, trying to find new students, with burned out, with exhaustion, with mental health, I would highly encourage you to check out what group lessons are all about. This is not going to be a salesy video, but I want to tell you that this was a game changer for me as somebody who does struggle with mental health to cut back on the amount of time I was teaching back to back to back without losing the income that I was so afraid to lose. My family depended on my income. I did not have the bandwidth to eliminate students because I could not eliminate that income. When I transitioned to groups, however, it was something that I honestly was so scared to try, but I am so glad I did because it not only gave me my time back, but it also provided a whole nother level of benefits and experiences that my students could get in my studio. For more information about group lessons, I actually teach a free masterclass. All you have to do is check the link in the description to find out if group lessons are the right fit for you. Happy teaching!